Erik Ten Hag had a grand plan to make Manchester United the best transitional team in the world, and I think it's fair to say that things haven't gone to plan so far. The idea itself is generally a good one because his key players are a good fit for it, but there have been some personal and system issues holding Manchester United back. Today, we're going to dive into Ten Hag's United tactic, fix those problems by recruiting players based on real life data from Wyscout, and recreate or just create the best transitional FM24 tactic. So lace up your boots and let's press on. Many of you will remember back in 2023 when Erik Ten Hag said we really look into the history of Manchester United and we really looked also into the qualities of our players. And then you can say, so what do we want to be? That is, we want to be the best transition team in the world. We want to surprise. But to be the best transitional team in the world, you've got to have these four qualities: work in possession, the shape out of possession, how you react after losing the ball, and how you work to win the ball back. With that being said, I will be using my scout reports to break down Manchester United's tactics. We've also looked at the issues and how we can look to correct that. Manchester United typically build with a 4-2 build-up shape from restarts with a back four, two holding midfielders, usually staggered, with the fullbacks staying deep and wide. Onana and the centre-backs look to lure the opposition in for the press, and then Onana will occasionally play that long pass. If the opposition have a high defensive line, it can be particularly dangerous with some fast forwards. Manchester United will then look to progress centrally through the central defenders or that drop-in CDM. That drop-in CDM will look to dictate tempo for Manchester United. As they progress through the lines, they will start to transition into a new 3-2-5 shape. And we can start to see that shape take form here. The CDM, Amrabat, drops in between the two central defenders as they split, and then Amrabat looks to dictate play. The left back on this occasion inverts into midfield. Manchester United look to disrupt the opposition's defensive shape during their build-up with the use of positional rotations to lose their markers. They also look to interchange positions with one player covering for another player, again, all in a bid to disrupt the opposition's defensive shape. In attacking transitions, Manchester United will look to find pockets in between the opposition's defensive line. This is where it will be key to recruit a striker as well, because that striker needs to be good, dropping from a high line into midfield to link up play for Manchester United, further improving the transitional play. Erik Ten Hag aims for his teams to be deadly in their offensive transitions. Manchester United look to break with a high tempo, frequently exploiting the gaps and again looking for that free man on the break. When they do go on the break, they often also look to attack the spaces between the centre-backs and the full-backs as the opposition's defensive line starts to get stretched. Manchester United will look to exploit high lines as well by playing passes and making runs in behind the opposition's defence. Usually, the wingers make a run inside from a wide touchline position. But one of the major issues that I find in this current Manchester United squad is the absence of synergy, communication, and unity among the players. A successful team thrives on a shared understanding of their roles and responsibilities in various game scenarios. However, the conflicting opinion among players have led to confusion and hindered Manchester United's performance on the field. Players' availability hasn't helped the cause either. Constant issues in key positions, forcing Erik Ten Hag to tweak and plug holes, has hurt Manchester United. So that's what I'm looking to recreate in Football Manager and also fix as well, making Manchester United the best transitional team in the game. Out of possession, we can talk about that a little bit when looking at the tactic in Football Manager, but for now, we are going to look at my shortlist and who I recruited for Manchester United. For the right back, I'm looking for an advanced right back who can hold their width on the right hand side in Ten Hag's system, experience playing in a back four, some good communication as well because we are trying to fix that communication issue, good fitness and physical attributes. So if they're coming from a different league with lesser quality, can they come to the Premier League? Do they have that fitness and physical attributes? Strong in duels versus wingers, low number of fouls given away, high defensive duels 1%. We're looking at interceptions, attacking output, successful passes and progressive actions. So this is my shortlist for the right back, which I admit was fairly difficult, though I did have my eye on one player who I initially went for. Hakimi was sort of the prototype, so he's not a realistic option. Baku when watching his video, the eye test, I just wasn't really too keen on him. Rodrigo Gomez, I believe, has gone to Wolves possibly, which left me with 4 other right backs. The right back that I went with, Yukinari Sugawara. In Football Manager, he likes to get further forward. He also crosses the ball early, but in real life, he had some, of course, interesting data. In Football Manager, he played 25 games for us, scoring 2 goals and got 7 assists. As you can see from the shortlist, Sugawara has the most assists or joint most assists with the highest expected assists per 90. Of course, wasn't the only data I was looking at, but something that Sugawara was strong in. Next, we're looking for that complete dropping forward, good at link and play, similar to Joshua Zirkzee, good physical attributes, high received passes per 90, so he's involved in the team's action, but we do have to consider the team's style and quality. For an example, if they're playing for a team bottom of the table, it's unlikely they're going to have a similar touches per game as Joshua Zirkzee, so you kind of have to make it possession adjusted. High smart passes per 90, so that's penetrative defensive line passes, high progressive actions per 90, and attacking output. Of course, out of possession work rate. The striker search was a little bit more exciting than the right back search. We got Skamaka, who I feel is unrealistic, so write him off. Memphis Depay is a free transfer, but also is Dutch, so, you know, link up play. But the player that I went for was Matheus Cunha. The data, of course, was good, but another pro is that he is Premier League ready. His height kind of surprised me because I wanted someone who was, they don't have to be strong in the air, but who can hold themselves in the air, and his height actually surprised me. So we got Matheus Cunha, who managed to score 16 goals, got 7 assists in 37 games, which is actually a pretty decent record. This is Matheus Cunha's percentile ranking, which I feel we need to take with a little bit of pinch of salt, as Matheus Cunha will play left-sided, but Wolves also play different formations. He can play on the left-hand side, he can play just behind the striker, but also up front. But look at his percentile rankings for progressive passes, progressive carries, and accelerations with the ball. He works hard without the ball as well. So this is Matheus Cunha's profile, someone I really like. Next, we are looking for the right-sided centre-back. Manchester United have been linked with Jared and Lenny Yoro, but that player should be good at covering, so Martinez is the aggressive centre-back. This centre-back can be a cover for Martinez, but also for the right-back as he pushes and looks to join the attack. Strong physical attributes, comfortable defending in a high line, important, good 1v1 defender, high defensive duels 1%, high aerial duels 1%. Looking at interceptions again, very low errors per 90 might be very important for Manchester United in that back line. This list is a little longer, so we do have some options like Jared, but he is left-footed, so we are counting that out. Mark Guy should be a serious option for Manchester United, but I went for neither of them. A defender that I did go for is also a defensive duel monster. No, it's not Soler, though Soler, keep an eye out on him. The central defender that I did go for was Ousmane Diomande. His heading is on 11. I wouldn't say his heading is bad in real life. We do have to consider that Diomande did play in a back 3 at Sporting as the right-sided centre-back, but he has played in the centre-back and left-sided centre-back as well, which gives me little worries that he'll be able to adapt in a back 4. Last and not least, the CDM, comfortable dropping in between the central defenders and dictating play. In possession, his ability is extremely key and has to be able to resist pressing. Progressive passes per 90 and the completion rate, forward passes per 90, respectable headers percentage 1 as well, because that can compensate for the other CDMs in the system. For an example, if he plays alongside Kobe Mainu, it might be important that this new CDM can win those headers because Kobe might struggle in the air. High interceptions, but also high footballing IQ. The player that I did go for is also Dutch, so we've got that as a positive, I guess, but his name is Joey Vermin. Currently at PSV, just look at his passing attributes. 17 for passing, 16 for vision. The mental attributes is very good. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer here. I do feel Manchester United may need more of a ball winning type of midfielder right now. That could be more of a priority for Manchester United. Someone that can also carry the ball as well through the lines, helping Manchester United be a better transitional team in transition. But I mean, the excitement of finding the next De Jong, almost, Joey Vermin was the guy for me. This was the shortlist, so you can see we've got Ruben Neves, we've got João Neves as well, Andre from Fluminense, Angelo Stiller. I absolutely love this guy. But looking at that Joey Vermin positional heat map, he can operate on that left-hand side. And looking at Frankie de Jong's 18-19 heat map, obviously playing under Ten Hag at Ajax, you can see very, very similar. But that wraps up the recruitment. Now it's time. Now it's time to go into Football Manager. Hold your horses. Before we do any of that, make sure you like this video. It's just a button right under, just there. It's just a button. Click it. Huge help. But also, if you want to support the channel as well, make sure you check out the Patreon, some bonus content such as early access. A lot of you got Julian. I don't know who Julian is, but a lot of you got to watch the Julian Nagelsmann tactic before it reached the masses. So consider it. Many will say Manchester United in fact play more of a 4-3-3. If you wanted to turn this into more of a 4-3-3, I don't see why you can't turn this player into a Segundo Volante. Maybe you want to change Bruno Fernandes's role, but for me personally, I just love this setup for Manchester United. So mentality, attacking width is set to fairly wide, passing directness and shorter, but being that best transitional team for the tempo, we're on very high. Pass into space and run at the defense. Very direct instructions. In transition, we won't have anything else but counter press and counter, distribute the ball to the fullbacks. I'm not really telling Onana what to do because, like we mentioned in the analysis, he has that capability of just going long. Lastly, out of possession, a high press, high defensive line, but the trigger presses on more often and no prevent short goalkeeper distribution. So we do have that sort of moment where we will drop back. So if we wanted to keep that pressure on, we would have stepped up more. But I don't really want to do that. I want to have moments, manage the game in game where we can drop back, then boom, get that ball and then break once again. But we are going to get stuck in. For the players, we got a super keeper in goal, 2 ball playing defenders at the back, no added instruction. For the left back, inverted wing back on attack so he can get into this sort of area here, and the half back can drop here into a back 3. You drop further forward there, and now look at our shape, a back 3. So it's sort of a 3. Then we'll have the 2 with the inverted wing back and the defensive midfielder, and then we would want this right back to be on the right hand flank and make a 5-man attack. The right back is a full back on attack, take more risks, stay wider, tackle harder. The double pivot, we've got of course a halfback who's going to be tackling harder, and a DM with no instructions. Left winger, my Marcus Rashford. He's the inside forward on support. Don't know why I just did that. The right winger is an inverted winger on support, shooting more less often. Get further forward, roaming from positions as well. The shadow striker, tackle harder. Lastly, the complete forward, tackle harder. In the second tactic, everything is the exact same, but we have a defensive midfielder on defend. I'm not sure how it would react if you start changing roles. So for an example, because we wanted that positional interchanging and rotations and stuff like that, the complete forward as well as the inside forward and shadow striker is very important, because obviously he will make some dropping movements, allowing the inside forward to drop further forward, but also he can get further forward. This striker is supposed to receive from players like the halfback, but also the inverted wingback as he gets further forward. Now you would notice straight away, and I did notice in the match engine as well, there can be a lack of width on the left hand side. So you might want to ask the left winger to stay wider, but I just didn't. And that is the case throughout the system, right? So again, once the halfback does drop, so if we put this centre back in the middle, and then put the halfback at left side of the centre back, then we're going to have this Luke Shaw player sort of just swap positions. They basically just swap in positions. The right back as well, he can get further forward. The inverted winger is on support, so he may just make supportive movements. That could be dropping deeper to receive the ball and allowing the fullback to make an overlapping run. So in my opinion, be very careful and think through it when you are looking to change roles. Or you can take inspiration from this tactic, as all my tactics, that is sort of the aim. So first off, we are going to look at the results to see how the new players did in this system. So we'll just fly past the results, but we're going to look at how Manchester United won the Premier League, winning 30 games out of the 38. We got to the quarterfinal in the Europa League. We won the FA Cup, beating Manchester City 4-0 in the final, but we also won the Carabao Cup, beating Aston Villa 2-0 in the final, but we were the runners-up in the Community Shield. The first goal in the FA Cup final, Malaysia throws it to Mainu. Here's Vermin now, my guy, finds Garnacho and he smashes it past Edison. The second goal was a transitional goal. So here's Jack Grealish, Garville, Mainly wins the ball. Now watch Manchester United in transition. Here's Cunha. He plays that role. He drops deep. He finds Ahmad. Ahmad breaks through and slots it past Edison. The next goal came from another set piece. Ahmad tries to whip it in, but I believe Manchester City head this out. It falls to Joey Vermin again. That IQ on the lad, always in the right place at the right time. Ahmad tries to shoot, blocks, falls to him again, slots it in. Believe it or not, it was 4-0 before half time. Vermin whips it in, finds the lot at the far post, and what a goal. So that game ended 4-0, and as you can see, Manchester United were deserved winners. So we did score the most goals, we had the most shots for. Obviously, being a heavy transitional side, I guess, we weren't too concerned with the average possession, but we were concerned with our defensive shape, and we had the most clean sheets with the best defensive record. High intensity sprints, I feel, will be key. We created the most chances, the highest XG with 84.89 and possessions won per game. Look at us, flying top of that rank. We had 5 players with double figures in goals. Garnacho with 13, Cunha with 16, Højlund with 18, Rashford with 24, and Bruno Fernandes with 27, Bruno Fernandes. 5 players with double figures in assists as well. Garnacho with 11, Anthony with 14, Bruno with 14, Rashford with 15, Luke Shaw with 15. Everybody in this team got game time, so as you can see here, all of these players here got double figures in game time. That is, how many players have I used here? 22 players. Disclaimer, the results were instant resulted. Not the first 10 games, I played those, but the rest instant resulted, as unfortunately I don't have the time to play every single game. But that wraps up today's video. I hope you guys have. I am loving these rebuilds. Of course, if you want to help support the channel, you can go to Patreon. Another way to support this channel is by liking this video. It's just a button there. So I'll see you guys soon. Stay safe. God bless. Peace out. Boop.